Good morning, everybody. Anybody watching live and for everyone in attendance, thank you so much for coming and welcome to Team Ellis Boxing Gym for our press conference, our official press conference for Saturday, May 14th, Pretender to Contender, Winner Takes All. It's a privilege to have you all here, and it's a privilege to have our celebrity fighters for our main card here tonight. We're going to be giving these celebrity fighters some questions just in a second, but before we do, we want to thank our sponsors right off the bat. Without these guys, it wouldn't be possible to bring an event like this together. So we'd like to thank Fight TV, Palmerbet, CB Clothing, The Usual Joint, Dr. D, and Calcare Constructions. These guys are a big help to this and putting this event on. Speaking of people that have helped put this event on, the man himself, the man who's put all this together right from the get-go, Jake Ellis, is sitting just to my right here. Jake, I want to open the questions up with you, if that's all right. The Pretender to Contender has been getting continuously bigger for a long time, since it first started back in 2018. We're out of COVID now, events are back. How exciting is this particular card for you?
Mate, first of all, I want to thank everyone for coming out today, everyone watching the stream, and a big thanks to all the fighters up here and all the undercard that have put in, the better end of nearly 2.5, 3 months of hard training. A massive thank you to all the media support. We've had an absolute abundance of that. Channel 9 are doing a few segments on a few of the guys up here. We've got Daily Mail also, Herald Sun. Big thanks to all you guys. But to answer your question, mate, yeah, we're really excited. We've wasted no time since the lockdown lifted. We've done 4 promotions in the last 6 months. So, we've just really excited to get the ball rolling. And, from the pre-sales of this event we've got coming up May 14th, it's about 30% better than our last show on December 17th. And if you can remember back then, it was, borderline a full house then. So, we were going to have a hard time squeezing them all in, but, it's really shaping up to be a really, really, really good show.
And of course, for those who aren't able to squeeze in on the night, you can watch the fights live on Fight TV. But Team Ellis Boxing's Pretender to Contender has become the biggest celebrity boxing event in the country. Was that always what you wanted it to do, or did it just kind of turn out that way?
To be honest with you, mate, it just turned out that way. We opened up the gym now about 6 years ago, and about 18 months in, there was a reoccurring sort of thing among the members that they all wanted to, whether they were here for mental health or, learn a bit of self-defense or a bit of weight loss, they all wanted a bit of a goal. And, me and the team got together, had a bit of a brainstorm, and we basically sort of come up with this format where, we could give these guys a pro experience without necessarily all the years of blood, sweat and tears to go into it. And, we basically come up with this 3x1 minute duration where we'd, get the guys in big head guards and gloves where it'd be nice and safe, but also have a structure where we would have, be able to promote it at the Melbourne Pavilion where, some of the biggest fighters in the world have fought. Anthony Mundine, Israel Adesanya, Danny Green, they've all fought at this venue. Just with the momentum it picked up. Obviously, I was just saying to you before that you were actually our first celebrity to ever box on our card back in 2018. So you're officially launched the missile, Mr. Testro. So, it was, basically from there, it just started picking up. We had Tahan Lou from Big Brother first up, and then we had Alias Chigaros he's now on Byron Bays, but he was originally from Love Island. He jumped on a few times. He had a few fights under us, and the momentum just started, rolling over. And now it's at a point where the last couple of shows over the last sort of 2 years, we've had no less than sort of a dozen influencers / celebrities on each card. So, we're really pretty much taken back by just how big it's become.
Well, it's a testament to your ability as a promoter, Jake, that you're able to bring events like this together time and time again, and we're so excited for this one. Just before I let you go, what do you make of the talent of the celebrity crop this time around?
Yeah, well, me and Anthony Topic were having a chat about it the other week. We were saying, just how much talent, as far as boxing talent, we have on this card. Luke boxed on our last show. He's boxing Clay Smith. Both boys are 1-0, looking at having their second fight. And if you're at the last show, Luke put on an absolute boxing clinic. And if his twin brother is anything like him, well, I know he obviously looks like him, but if he fights anything like him, we're in for a real, real good show. A couple of other boys, obviously Roland Bradley, he's 2-0, looking at, having his third fight. Jed Lamb, he's looking at having his second fight as well. And I wanted to send out a special thank you to Mr. Matt White. He took this fight on quite late notice, only took it about 5-6 weeks ago, so a big thanks to him. But in saying that as well, I do know he's been keen on trying to get on one of these shows for the better part of sort of a year to 18 months, so I know he's put in a lot of training for that. So I am expecting big things from him. We had a couple of girls on as well with Pappy and Bella, so yeah, it's going to shape up to be a really, really good night. Like I said, biggest crowd we've ever had for one of these shows, and by far the most talent. So we're really excited.
You mentioned the man Anthony Topic sitting just to my left here, who is our celebrity matchmaker. For those of you that don't know, but Topic, can you tell us a little bit about matching these fights? Was it hard to convince these guys to get in there, or are they all kind of chomping at the bit?
Nah, this is probably the easiest crop of fighters that I've had to deal with in quite a long while. People like Matt Wyatt picks up the fight 6 weeks out. Jesse Costantoff does his arm and can't fight anymore, so he put his hand up straight away and said, "Look, I'm gonna jump in there and have a blue. No matter if he's had a full camp or not, he's jumping in there, and credit to him because it takes a big person to do that and a lot of heart. So good on you, Matty, for doing that. And these guys, again, one of the easiest crops I've ever worked with, and a couple of boys sitting next to me here with Clay and Luke. Me and Jakey are potentially, thinking about turning them professional at some point. And I definitely think that they got what it takes to become professional fighters. So who knows for these other guys? You've got people like Roland Bradley as well. He's had a couple tough fights against Kieran Stott. And, he's another one who's next in line to potentially turn pro. So, yeah, a good crop of fighters here. So, yeah, we're excited.
Topic, thank you so much. We're going to launch straight into chatting with our fighters now, guys. The main event, Luke Packham versus Clay Smith. Luke, obviously from the block and the Bachelor and Love Island, and Clay Smith, an AFL Premiership player. They're both 1-0, as Jake mentioned before. Clay's had an amateur fight, and Luke, of course, featured on our last Pretender to Contender, where he had an outstanding victory. They're fighting for this beautiful red belt just over here to my left. I want to start with you, Clay. You've been a Premiership AFL player. You reached the top of your sport. You have been retired for a few years now. What made you want to put your hand up and step back into a sport at such a high level?
I guess once I did finish up from footy with the knees, I went through a pretty rough patch and got to a pretty dark place, and boxing is what pulled me out of it the first time. I was training down at the gym in Yarraville, and they just offered for me to have a fight, so I jumped at that and got fit and healthy again and got my mind back on track, and then I was meant to be fighting on Wildfighter, and then COVID hit and put a stop to that and put some weight back on, and then got out of COVID, and Topic got onto me and asked if I was keen to jump on this one, and jumped straight at it, so looking forward to it.
And you have been in the ring before. You had that amateur fight. Does that experience give you a lot of confidence going into this fight on May 14th?
Yeah, definitely. It's good to have already been in there, not wore the headgear and do the 3-2s, so can't hurt.
You're seeing your opponent in person now. I'm taking it's probably the first time. Has that changed how you're feeling at all about the big occasion? Are there any more nerves after sizing your opponent up?
I haven't sized him up yet, but no, there's no nerves. Looking forward to the night. I've heard he's done pretty well in his last one, but we'll wait and see what happens in this one.
Over to you, Luke. You had a fight before. You got your hand raised. It was an outstanding performance on the last Team Ellis show. You basically did everything that you would have wanted to do on that occasion. So what made you put your hand up and want to come back and do it all again?
Yeah, obviously at that time I'd just finished the block, so literally I only had about 4 weeks to train for that fight. Whereas this time around, I've had a lot more time to train, work on technical aspects, so I wanted to come back and show some massive improvements to my game, and obviously I've got a big tough fight in front of me with Clay, and I think it's going to be a great fight. I think we're both bulldogs, and it's going to be a good fight.
Your opponent, Clay, he's an elite level athlete. Does that make it a little bit more nerve-wracking this time around? Do you feel a change in the nerves or the excitement this time compared to last time?
No, not really, to be honest. I know back in the day I was a national athletic gold medalist, under 20s, so I've got a long athletic history myself. So when it comes down to it, it's boxing. It's a different sport to what I used to do, to what Clay used to do. We're both pretty new to the sport, but obviously gaining leaps and bounds pretty quickly. So, I'm just very keen to get in there.
Just lastly for you, Luke, is there anything you want to accomplish in that ring on May 14th at the Pavilion that you didn't accomplish last time?
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously it was my first fight. Didn't get much time to train. So this time round, I just really want to put on a boxing clinic, show my technical ability, and obviously get my hand raised at the end.
Thank you so much, Luke. These guys are our main event fighters for the night, Saturday, May 14th at the Melbourne Pavilion. They're fighting for that beautiful belt there once again. And moving over to this green belt, just to my right, for the semi-main event, that is going to be Matt Wyatt from the Bachelorette and Nitro Circus, and Josh Packham, who might look familiar if you're looking at Luke before, also from Love Island and The Block. Matty, I want to start with you, mate. You've been a rider for Nitro Circus, so you guys do some of the most insane things I'm sure no one here would ever dream of doing. Does that give you nerves of steel for something like this, or is this a little bit more nerve-wracking or less?
Yeah, so I've been on Nitro Circus for 13 years, had my fair share of big knocks and big injuries, so coming into this was not nervous at all. Suppose training up, feeling good, and then I've only had an opportunity to spar in an MMA gym. That was probably when the nerves first hit me, but kind of exactly what I expected, being able to take big knocks and not faze me at all, and just keep moving forward and coming in strong. Obviously, took this late, haven't had much time to brush up on any skills or any technique, so I'm coming in just, with little knowledge, but coming in hard and not scared at all.
So, on that note, Matt, you've taken the fight on quite short notice. You've probably had half of a training camp. Why did you want to do that? Why did you want to step in there in front of all those people, fighting live? Why did you want to step in on such a big stage doing that with half a camp?
I've spent my life putting on shows, people. I love putting on a show, and what better way to take a challenge and put on a show in front of an awesome crowd. And taking on late notice is no excuse at all. I'm ready to go.
You expressed at some point earlier on, maybe a year ago, a year or two, that you wanted to fight Kieran Stott. Is that something that you want to do again after this fight?
Where is he? What do you reckon? He's got to put on some weight. I'm not getting down to his weight to fight him. If he comes up, I'll fight him.
Okay, no worries, Matty Wyatt. Thank you so much. Josh, I want to move it over to you now, mate. I just wanted to ask if you've ever met Matt before, or if this is your first time meeting him, and what your first impressions are of your upcoming opponent.
No, first time meeting Matt. I've watched him on TV, but he's a nice guy. I've got nothing bad to say about him. I get on with him. We've only spent like 10 minutes with each other, so yeah, I think he's a pretty nice guy, but I can tell he's definitely someone that's not afraid. He'll move forward, so I think it'll be a good fight.
We saw your brother Luke obviously get in the ring last time out. He had the win. Was it a bit of sibling rivalry? You just couldn't stand seeing your twin brother do something that well and you not being in there at the same time. Is that what spurred you on to do this, or is it something else?
We definitely have sibling rivalry. I mean, even sparring, we're banned from sparring in the gym from now on because it just gets too heated. But it was more just the adrenaline. I was watching him fight and I was standing there and I said, I wish I could go in there tonight. So I spoke to Anthony straight after and said, put me on the next card.
And who'd win out of you and Luke, Josh?
You would have to pay to see that, man.
Well, maybe we might find out next time. You both get the hand raise, who knows? Thank you so much, boys. They're our semi-main event for the evening is Josh Packham and Matt Wyatt. Moving on now to the lovely ladies. One of them is not here, Belle isn't here, but Puppy is here, and they're fighting for this pink belt down on the bottom table, just down there. I just wanted to ask you, Puppy, being an influencer, some of us have seen footage of Belle boxing. She's pretty sharp on the pads. What made you want to put your hand up and say, I'll fight her?
So, like I said on my Instagram recently, actually, when I was asked, last year was all about my mental health and improving that. This year I thought I would take it a step further and challenge myself physically. So when the opportunity arose for this fight, I was keen on taking it.
So you mentioned mental health, and that's something that often goes hand in hand with boxing. Have you found that that's been really significant in that regard?
Yeah, definitely. I think that, I didn't expect to be challenged mentally going into this fight. I didn't take it as seriously as I should have in the beginning. But boxing is a hard sport. It's a lot harder than I thought it would be. So yeah, the mental challenges that I've experienced in the lead up to this fight, yeah.
It's a massive venue, the Melbourne Pavilion. It's looking like it's going to pack in close to 3,000 people. There's going to be many more watching live. Are you feeling any nerves about fighting in front of such a big audience for your first time out?
I'm excited. I can't wait.
Good on you, Papi. Thank you so much. We apologise your opponent couldn't be here today. But Papi is fighting Bella for this pink belt down here. It's going to be a great fight, so make sure you're watching Saturday, May 14th. Adonis and Jed Lamb. These two gentlemen are fighting for the Palmer Bet Cup. Adonis, I want to start with you. You're a good friend of Roland Bradley, who, if anyone's been watching Pretender to Contenders in the past, they'll know that man. Was it watching his experience in there that made you want to get in there yourself?
Yeah, so obviously he's fought 2 fights now, and that last fight really kind of sealed that decision for me to want to step in the ring. Kind of wanted to do it for a while, but yeah, that's really what kind of pushed it over the tipping point for me to get in the ring.
Your opponent, Jed, has actually fought on a Pretender to Contender show before. Did you see his fight, and what do you make of him as an opponent?
I'm definitely not going to see this as an easy fight. I'm sure he's got some good hands. I've seen the footage of his last fight, so definitely not going to underestimate his ability in the ring, but yeah, we shall see how it goes on the night.
And had you been training in boxing for a long time before this camp, or was this something that you just kind of decided on that night, hey, I'm going to do this, and you just started then and there?
It's kind of really been on and off. Been training a little bit here and there, like Roland's previous camps, but never really took it seriously until probably like the start of this year. That's when I really wanted to delve deeper into boxing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Adonis. And over to you, Jed. Last time out on the Pretender to Contender show, you lost a decision to another AFL footballer, Marley Williams. What did you learn from that experience, and why did that experience result in you getting straight back on the horse and getting straight back in there?
Yeah, it was a great experience to be a part of that night. I learned a lot. Obviously, it's very daunting getting in the ring. Not used to getting punched in the face. It's obviously a lot different to running out and playing a game of footy. But what I learned, I was probably a bit too scared to throw punches and worried about getting hit. So hopefully learn from that, and yeah, I'm going to come out swinging May 14th.
So is that what we can expect to see differently from you this time out? A bit more aggression? Is that kind of what you want to implement for yourself?
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's what I'm hoping. You can train all you want, but a lot of things go out the window when you step in the ring. So we'll have to wait and see what happens.
And is this something you want to continue doing, Jed, or do you want to get your hand raised and call it quits, or do you want to keep going?
Not too sure, mate. It was obviously disappointing losing the last fight. I'm pretty competitive, so sort of the main reason jumping back in the ring was to hopefully get my hand raised at the end of the fight. So that's what we're hoping to do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Good on you, Jed. Thank you very much. Our next fight is Roland Bradley, who I'm sure many of you will recognise, versus Abe Samiklis. These guys are going to have a really great fight, I think. I think it's going to be a fantastic one to watch. Roland, this is your third time on a Pretender to Contender show. You're 2-0. You've got a brand new opponent this time. What are your thoughts on him? Staring across the table, what do you make of your new opponent?
Nothing much really, but I know he's been exposed to like this fighting scene for a while, and I'm not going to underestimate my opponent. I'm coming in there, to show my best performance, but yeah.
How far do you want to take this boxing journey? We've seen you improving each time out. We're assuming you want to do that again today. How far do you want to take it?
It's really hard to say that because I've only fought the same guy twice, and this is only my first year of boxing, and I've been exposed to different levels at this sport already, and I can tell that I still have a long way ahead. I'm more focused on my next fight rather than what's the future ahead. So we'll see what happens after this fight.
And is there any part of your game that you really want to make a statement with, that you want to really improve on and show everyone watching what you've been working on? Is there any part of what you do as a boxer that you want to show on the night?
Yeah, we're always working on something new. Like every camp, I've learned something different, and I want to try. And even my coach here, he's exposed me to different gyms, different people. I've learned a lot over the past year already, and yeah.
Roland, thank you so much. Abe, over to you. You've actually got a big background in MMA, and you're stepping into the boxing ring on May 14th. Why the change in codes?
I'm just here to challenge myself. I love trying new things. Obviously, the boxing fighter always topic ended up calling me up and he wanted me to fight on this show, and I just love challenging myself. So I come from a kickboxing, karate, taekwondo, and MMA background, and I've held numerous titles. And is mic working? Hello. Anyway. So yeah, he told me, do you want to have a boxing fight? And I said, yeah, hell yeah, because I just love testing myself. You never know unless you try it, and I just love putting my hands up for new things.
And how difficult have you found going into boxing as opposed to some of these other martial arts that you've been proficient in?
I reckon boxing's a bit more difficult because I'm mainly a kicker, and your footwork is based off setting up kicks with your punches. But it is really different to me, because if this was kickboxing, this would be over in 10 seconds. But boxing, I have a lot of respect for boxing because it's like a game of chess. You pick your shots. You got to be very efficient with your energy. You got to be very, very, very fit. And I know Roland has a lot of heart, and he showed that against Kieran. So, I'm not taking him as a slouch. I'm coming in there with everything I've got.
So you've obviously seen Roland's previous fights. Did you see any weaknesses in his game that you want to exploit?
I'm not going to reveal anything. That's for me and my coaches to know, but all I'm saying is don't blink.
Okay, thank you so much, Abe. That's going to be a great fight, guys. We're really looking forward to that one. And lastly, we've got Ian versus Damian, just sitting at either end of the table here on the far right and far left. I want to start with you, Ian. For those of you that don't know what Ian does, if anyone ever asks me what he does, I just tell them that he's Magic Mike.
Hell yeah.
So, Ian, why would you trade in all those screams of affirmation and attention for a night of trading leather? Why do that?
Oh man, I've just, like everyone else, this is challenging for me, so I like pushing myself beyond like mental and physical capabilities. Performing on that stage is a lot similar to boxing as well. Like you're in front of like a large audience, but it's just another aspect of performing. Yeah, it's just something that I could try and, work hard at.
I've seen you firsthand putting in a lot of work into your boxing training. You train really hard. You've been doing it for a little while now. What would getting the win on May 14th mean to you?
Oh, it'd mean a lot, man. After knowing how much work I've put in the past 3, 4, 5 weeks, it would mean so much. Yeah.
Good on you, Ian. Thank you so much. And Damian, over to you. You actually manage a number of high-profile influencers and YouTubers, including Roland, actually, the man just to your right. You've been ringside when he's stepped into a couple of hard fights against Kieran Stott. Why did you want to put your hand up for this?
Yeah, just like what Ian said, I want to test my mental and physical abilities, and I love boxing. It brings people purpose, and can't wait for 2 weeks' time to have some violence.
Your opponent keeps himself in pretty good shape. Do you think it's going to be a hard fight, or do you predict it being a bit of easy work?
Yeah, well, I guess for the females, he looks good in that way. But in boxing, I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to find out in 2 weeks' time.
And do you have a prediction at all for how you think the fight's going to go?
I'm hoping it ends early, but, I'm definitely going to respect Ian, and I'm going to give it my 100% all. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much. Guys, that concludes our press conference for Pretender to Contender Winner Takes All. Again, it is at the Melbourne Pavilion on Saturday night, May the 14th. If you can't get tickets or you don't have them already, you can watch it live on Fight TV. We thank you for everyone that's watching live, everyone that's here at the Team Ellis Boxing Gym in attendance. We thank you for joining us, and just give a big round of applause for our celebrity fighters that have showed up today. We really appreciate your time, guys. And we're going to have some face-offs now, so thank you so much. We'll get right into it. All right, guys, we're going to have our fighters face off now for a few moments of intensity. Damian and Ian, please make your way to the front for a face-off.
This one first, 1 and 2, and this one, 1, 2. Right, thank you.
Let's hear it for Ian and Damian, guys. Put them together. Next up, we want to see Roland and Abe. Please make your way to the front.
Go for this one, 1 and 2, 3, and this one, guys, 1, 2, 3.
Let's hear it for Roland and Abe. Again, Saturday, May the 14th at the Melbourne Pavilion or live on Fight TV. We've also got a lot of great corporate fights on the undercard before our celebrity main card, guys. Next up, we would like to see Adonis and Jed.
Boys this way, count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Put your hands together for Jed and Adonis. Puppy doesn't have her opponent here today, but I'm sure she can face off against Topic. Easy work.
Count of 3, 1, 2, 3.
Let's hear it for Puppy, guys. All right, Matty White and Josh Packham, get down there, fellas. Keep your hands to yourselves, please, boys. Let's hear it for our semi-main event, Matt White and Josh Packham. And now our main event fighters, Clay Smith, Luke Packham, please make your way to the front.
Count of 3, boys. 1, 2, 3.
Let's hear it for our main event, guys. Saturday, May the 14th at the Melbourne Pavilion and live on Fight TV. Thank you so much for joining us at today's press conference at the Team Ellis Boxing Gym. We appreciate you guys watching live and everyone that showed up here in person today. One more thank you to our sponsors, Fight TV, Palmerbet, CB Clothing, The Usual Joint, Dr. D and Calcare Constructions. Thank you all. Let's give it one more round of applause for our fighters and our promoters, the team that bring this event together. Thank you so much for joining us today, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.